What would you do if tomorrow you lost your job, got hit with an unexpected medical bill, or woke up to find the local currency had suddenly lost half its value? Most people panic, spend recklessly, or scramble to borrow money. But there's a smarter way to prepare, a way to protect yourself financially no matter what happens. And it's simpler than you think. It's your emergency fund. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up an emergency fund that works in real life, where to keep your money, and how to split it between cash, cards, deposits, and bonds. Whether you live in Azerbaijan, the US, or any other country, this step-by-step guide will make sure your money is safe, accessible, and even protected from inflation or currency swings. So stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll have a practical roadmap to handle any financial emergency without stress, panic, or mistakes. Part 1. What is an emergency fund? An emergency fund isn't an investment, not a source of income, and not extra cash. It's a dedicated pool of money set aside for unexpected situations. It protects you in scenarios like losing your job, sudden medical expenses, delayed income, or currency fluctuations. The golden rule is that an emergency fund should cover 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. For example, if your monthly expenses are 500 AZN, your minimum emergency fund should be 1,500 AZN, and the ideal fund would be 3,000 AZN. Part 2. The biggest mistake, keeping it all at home. Many people think keeping cash at home is safe. But this approach is only partially correct. Keeping cash at home has risks: theft, loss, fire, inflation, and impulsive spending. At the same time, avoiding home cash completely is also not ideal, because some emergencies require immediate cash access. Part 3. How much cash to keep at home and in which currency? The cash at home should be a small part of your emergency fund, only for immediate emergencies. In Azerbaijan, I recommend keeping about 10% of your fund at home. For a 3,000 AZN fund, this would be 300 AZN. Split this cash half in AZN and half in dollars, meaning 150 AZN and around $90. This ensures that if banks are closed, cards don't work, or you have a late night emergency, you can still access money immediately. In developed countries like the USA, the home cash portion can be smaller, around 5% of the fund, just enough to cover a day or two of urgent expenses. Part 4. Card accounts, the most liquid part. Card accounts are the heart of your emergency fund. They're fully liquid, accessible via ATM or online transfer, and safe from home-related risks. In Azerbaijan, I recommend allocating about 20 to 25% of your fund on card accounts, split evenly between local currency and dollars. For example, if your fund is 3,000 AZN, this means keeping 350 AZN and $210 on card accounts. The card may not earn much interest, but the priority is accessibility, not income. In developed countries, a similar approach works. Keep around 25 to 30% of your emergency fund on card accounts for quick access. Part 5. Short-term bank deposits, the core of the fund. Short-term deposits are slightly less liquid than cards but allow your emergency fund to earn some interest safely. In Azerbaijan, you can use 3 or 6 month deposits. AZN deposits may earn 6 to 8% for 3 months, or 8 to 10% for 6 months. Dollar deposits earn lower rates, around 1 to 3% annually. If you need to withdraw early, your principal is safe, but you forfeit interest. That's fine for an emergency fund. Accessibility always comes first. I recommend allocating about 35 to 40% of your fund to short-term deposits, mostly in AZN, around 70%, and some in dollars, around 30%. For example, if your fund is 3,000 AZN, this could be 840 AZN in AZN deposits and $220 in dollar deposits. Part 6. USD accounts, liquid, untouchable security. Some may ask, if dollar accounts don't earn interest, why have them? The answer, a USD account isn't a deposit, it's a liquid holding. It gives you immediate access to money, protects against devaluation, and provides psychological security. I recommend keeping about 10 to 15% of your emergency fund in a USD account, as a separate untouchable portion. For example, with a 3,000 AZN fund, this could be about 400 AZN equivalent in dollars. This money isn't for daily use, it's the last resort buffer. Part 7. Short-term bonds, optional additional buffer. In developed countries, short-term government bonds can be very useful. They provide higher interest than deposits and are highly liquid. Allocating 30 to 40% of your fund in bonds can make sense for Americans. In Azerbaijan, bonds are less practical for emergency funds. The market is smaller, liquidity is low, and it may take several days to convert them to cash. I recommend keeping at most 10 to 15% of your fund in bonds, only as an additional buffer, not the main portion. Part 8. Practical model, Azerbaijan example. Assume monthly expenses are 500 AZN, and your emergency fund is 3,000 AZN. Here's a practical allocation. Home cash, 300 AZN, split 150 AZN and $90. Card account, 700 AZN, split 350 AZN and $210. Short-term deposits, 1,200 AZN, 840 AZN and $220. USD account, 400 AZN equivalent. Bonds, optional buffer, 400 AZN. This setup balances liquidity, currency risk, and minor interest, while keeping funds available for emergencies. Part 9. Practical model, USA, developed countries. Assume monthly expenses are $3,000, and the emergency fund is $9,000. A practical allocation. Home cash, $500 for immediate emergencies. Card account, $2,500 for daily access. Short-term deposits, $2,000 for interest, accessible in 1 to 2 days. USD account, $1,000 untouchable buffer. Short-term government bonds, $3,000 for safety and interest. Here, bonds can take a larger portion because liquidity and market stability are higher. Conclusion. An emergency fund won't make you rich overnight, but it will save you from financial panic when life hits unexpectedly. When you have a proper emergency fund, you stop making desperate decisions. You don't borrow blindly. You don't sell investments at the worst moment. You stay calm, and calm people always make better financial choices. Remember this, your emergency fund is not about earning money. It's about protecting your future self. Most people watching this video don't have a real emergency fund yet, and that's okay. What matters is what you do next. So here's my question for you. Which part of your emergency fund will you fix first? Cash at home, card balance, deposits, or dollar protection? Write it in the comments. I read every response. If this video helped you, hit the like button and subscribe, because in the next videos, I'll show you what to do after your emergency fund is ready, and how to safely move beyond protection into real wealth building investments. See you in the next one.